To Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM, the number one gospel station in Jamaica. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you are overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also check us out on Love 101 FM, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live in the main watch today. Living forever by downloading your brain into a robot? Is that immortality? Maybe, maybe not. In the second watch, the making of a will. In our social media question, we ask, would you consider putting your brain in a robot? Why or why not? Very interesting question. Share your responses in our Facebook or YouTube Love 101 FM Jamaica Live. And also WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using the hashtag #TheMorningWatch. We'll share your comments later on the program, but first, here's I quote.
Or I quote, to him that will, ways are not wanting. Hibbert George.
Decode that one for me now, Rasheen.
To him that will, to him that wants to do something, ways are not wanting. That's how I interpret it.
A way shall be found regardless.
Yes.
Good morning, brother Rasheen. How you do?
Good morning, Mr. Stokely. You look sharp in your suit and everything. You're going to a session this morning?
Just for the occasion, sir. The main watch. We'll be back after this break.
Bless you.
You too.
Easter time at H&L Rapid True Value. From April 21 to 30, get up to 75% off select lighting, houseware, and Hotesh tools. Plus, special offers on building materials. The Easter fun doesn't end there. Don't miss our Easter egg giveaway, April 22 to 24. Spend $10,000 excluding GCT for your chance to select an egg and win a shopping spree valued at $100,000. Conditions apply.
The Church of God in Jamaica National Youth Executive presents Rise Up, Praise Up, Live Up, massive gospel concert featuring Jermaine Edwards, John Mark Wigan, Travell Clark Wine, Dreads, and top winners from the National Talent Hunt competition. When? Saturday, April 23rd at 4 o'clock. Tickets available at the Church of God in Jamaica head office, 35 Hope Road, or Jamaica Youth for Christ office, 2 Acacia Avenue for only $1,200, or watch it online at caribevents.com.jm, only $10 US. We outside, so don't miss it.
Gotta make a way for me.
The first sound they make is to simply let the world know they're here. And then it's our duty to help them show the world why they're here in the first place.
Give them every advantage with the Guardian Achiever, a plan that provides for their educational dreams and protects their health and life in the process. For more information, call 888-4LIFE to speak to an advisor or visit myguardiangroup.com.
I'm advice I don't know all the shot and tally. I have a message to everyone. Get vaccinated. Hey, tourism the main driver of the local economy. It provides us with job, to help the country. So everybody in the industry, get the job and come follow me. It don't hurt to the nerd. Link the nurse cause the vaccine work. Get vaccinated. This is a message from the Ministry of Tourism. Get vaccinated. Just get vaccinated. You're deaf?
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. We are in the main watch now. As Christians, we, of course, seek to have eternal life through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. But some persons may have other thoughts. And what I mean by that, to put it into context, is some persons may be of the view that we can upload our memories, our thoughts into machines, into robots, using artificial intelligence. And the suggestion is out there from persons such as Elon Musk. It has been indicated, and I say indicated. CNBC.com reports, by Musk's account, such technology will be a gradual evolution from today's forms of computer memory. Our memories are stored in our phones and computers with pictures and video, he said. Computers and phones amplify our ability to communicate, enabling us to do things. We have already amplified our human brains massively with computers. Well, the question is it an amplification of our brains, or is it just an aid to how we get things done? Well, more anon. We have online this morning to discuss this very interesting subject. Tyrone Edwards, lecturer, School of Computing and Information Technology at the University of Technology, Jamaica. And also Rudy Robinson, senior industrial engineer, lecturer in technology at the Montego Bay Community College. Good morning, Mr. Robinson, and good morning, Mr. Edwards. How are you both?
Good morning, Mr. Marshall. I'm doing okay. Good morning,
Great.
listener.
Mr. Robinson? I don't. Well, Mr. Robinson, are you with us? Well, until we have Mr. Robinson, until we can hear him, because we are seeing him but not hearing him. Mr. Edwards, good morning again. Now, that CNBC article is quite interesting, CNBC.com to be more specific. Now, we have been hearing a lot about the use of AI, artificial intelligence, to help us to get things done. But this seems to be an attempt or a thought, a further rung up the ladder, or a further up, well, another notch up. This matter of uploading your memories into a computer seems a bit far-fetched. But let me ask you, as a person who lectures in terms of computers and technology, sir, what do you make of it? And is it something which is a little bit too embryonic at this time?
Since the beginning of computing, you can say that the mind has been wondering about the many things that it allows us to do. And as the power of the computer has increased over the years, then the various activities that we are now entrusting to the computer has increased.
Such as what? Such as what? What are we entrusting to the computers? And how does that affect this whole matter of uploading memories and thoughts to robots, AI in the cloud, for example?
All right. So we trust that we can store the things that we consider valuable on a computer. We even have electronic currencies that are stored on the computer, right? So we have gotten used to the computer playing a big role in the activities that we do. Even during COVID, we saw where the computer made it possible for us to still be able to have some semblance of normality, even though we were under numerous lockdowns and restrictions. So the thought of being able to transfer one's, let's say, memories, not just in the form of taking a photograph or uploading a song to the computer, but now looking at the advancement in robotics, where you have humanoid type robots that are moving around and carrying out different tasks. During COVID, we had robots that are programmed with artificial intelligence to be servants, taking orders in restaurants and getting the food from the kitchen and taking it to the person who made the order.
In Jamaica, Mr. Edwards, or elsewhere?
Elsewhere. we have actually acquired some of these equipment at the skit at the School of Computing. Because,
I see.
Yes. So we have in our possession those same robots that we're going to be using in our program.
I see. Do they have names, sir? Do they have any names? All right, don't go there yet. Before you go there, let's see if you can bring in Mr. Robinson. Rudy Robinson, are you with us now? Can we hear you now, sir? We are seeing you.
I hope the problem wasn't you hearing me, it was me hearing you. I wasn't hearing anything. But,
I see.
You and your audience.
Okay, great having you now, because we have been seeing you all along. Now, Mr. Robinson, any thoughts? The whole matter of the use of artificial intelligence, robots, and that thought of uploading your memories into a robot. And as a result, the view or the thought some have that you can live forever. Well, I don't want to take Mr. Elon Musk out of context, but if we go straight down where he seems to be headed, some people would say that's exactly what it would mean. What are your thoughts, Rudy Robinson? Because the idea of living forever just seems very, first of all, unbiblical. It seems unbiblical. Let's start there. Yes, Mr. Robinson.
Okay, my thoughts are this: that the human brain is a physical device, it's like a computer, right?
You're saying the human brain is like a physical device?
It's a physical device, yes.
Like
a computer.
That almost sounds sacrilegious, Mr. Robinson, but continue.
No, but there's two things here. You have the brain and you have your spirit, right? What the brain does is it stores memory, like any computer.
But when you say device, it sounds dehumanizing. Your brain is a device. Anyway, let me not cut into what you're saying, Mr. Robinson, please.
Okay, I should have stated clearly from the beginning that there is an ancient belief. There's a belief that the physical world, the science world,
yes,
is a subset or a small spot or a small part of something much greater, which we call the spiritual world.
Okay.
Right? And it is that all religions are actually based. Right? Oh. We are not just physical creatures.
Yes.
There's a component to us which is not physical. And our body is a physical device which is used to communicate with that spiritual component.
And the matter of the brain now, uploading it into a robot. Continue.
Okay. Now the brain has the ability to store memories.
Yes.
Okay. And those memories are like storing things on our computer hard drive. If you know how to access them, you can access somebody's memory. All right. But memory.
Mr. Robinson, yes. I think there's a bit of a delay. I don't know if you're on the phone. Yes, you are. But just hold that thought because we are on the break. We'll be right back at the Morning Watch. Stay with us.
Oh, okay.
JNGI Online. It's so easy. Quote by renew. JNGI Online. It's just right for you. JNGI Online. Easy access anywhere, anytime. It only takes minutes. Just jump online. Legal insurance must be up to date. No long phone calls and no long wait. Quote by renew.
JNGI Online Motor Insurance, powered by JN General Insurance.
In 2021, we were number one. If you're looking to earn more on your investments, invest in number one, Sigma Global Funds, the top performing funds in 2021. For US dollar and Jamaican dollar equity funds, we were number one. For US dollar and Jamaican dollar fixed income funds, we were number one. For US dollar and Jamaican dollar balanced funds, Sigma Global Funds was number one. Earn more on your investments. Invest in the number one funds in Jamaica, Sigma Global Funds, from Sagicor Investments. Conditions apply.
Do you have a heart condition? Your care should be in the hands of our experienced cardiovascular team at Partners Interventional Center of Jamaica. We're one of the leading heart centers for angiogram, stenting, pacemakers, EP studies, and ablation therapy. PICJ has the expertise and latest technology to treat all your heart needs. Call 876-995-7425 or email info@pic-jm.com for appointments. PICJ, your partners for life.
Attention all singers. Have you ever dreamed of being the next Yolanda Adams or the next John Legend? Well, dream no more. Destiny Entertainment Agency is coordinating a 4-week online singing course entitled Soul to Soul with instructor Elsa Harris.
Elsa was a founding member of the renowned Jessie Dixon Singers when she was just 23.
Sessions with renowned singer Elsa Harris will be held on consecutive Mondays beginning April 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Booking at DestinyEntertainment.com for just US $25 in advance and $50 same-day registration. Soul to soul to soul.
Importers, traders, brokers, Jamaicans at home and abroad. Want to know more about providing proper invoices to customs and get your valuation questions ventilated? Then join the Jamaica Customs Agency for its CCC online engagement forum. Click, connect, and converse with customs on Thursday, April 28, 2022 from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. under the theme Your Invoice Matters. Visit www.jacustoms.gov.jm to register and to participate. Log on and get it right as Your Invoice Matters. That's Thursday, April 28, 2022 starting at 10:30 a.m. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. Thanks for staying with us. We are having a discussion this morning with Mr. Tyrone Edwards, lecturer, School of Computing and Information Technology at the University of Technology, Jamaica, and Mr. Rudy Robinson, senior industrial engineer, lecturer in technology, Montego Bay Community College. And the topic in this first watch, or the main watch, living forever by downloading your brain into a robot. Is that immortality? Maybe or maybe not. And before the break, Mr. Robinson, you are making a very interesting and, potent point. But before you return to the point, I just want to take a look at the CNBC article again. Now, the topic of the article is in relation to Elon Musk says humans could eventually download their brains into robots. And there is another segment of the headline which probably isn't necessarily relevant to the discussion this morning. And just a little bit of the article here online. Elon Musk says a lot of seemingly fantastical things. It starts by saying that. It goes on to read, for example, the billionaire Tesla and SpaceX CEO seems to believe that humans will eventually be able to live forever by downloading their brains into robots. And he's quoted as saying here, I think it is possible, unquote. I think it is possible. And, Mr. Robinson, and by the way, the article is dated April 8th, 2022 by Megan Saar and updated April the 9th, 2022. Now, Mr. Robinson, first of all, is it even possible to download your brain into a robot? I think what they probably mean is downloading the contents of your brain, but be that as it may. Mr. Robinson, continue.
I believe you can download your memories, but I don't believe you can download your consciousness, what makes you human, what makes you alive, aware.
Say that more slowly and unpack it, please. I believe you can download your
memory.
Your memories.
That you have? Yes.
Yes.
Your brain stores most of the memories that you've gathered during your lifetime, and you can download those things.
But,
however, you are not just a physical object.
Exactly.
And this is where science gets big. Science doesn't really comprehend that. It's been a big debate among science. What exactly is life and what is being alive? What happens when you die, right? You are part of you is a spiritual being, a spiritual entity. And your spiritual entity does not obey the rules of science. Right? Okay. It doesn't age, it was never born and it will never die. Right? And it is something which is hard to comprehend. Right? Your physical body, however, will die. Right? Your physical body is controlled by your movement of your physical body is controlled by your brain, right? And your memories are stored in your brain, and those things can be manipulated scientifically. So yes, you can download your memories, but it won't be you. You can't download your awareness, your thoughts. Remember, your memories are just audio-visual files, so to speak. Well, based on the five senses that you have.
Yes. So if you are of the view, I'm not saying this is what Musk is thinking, but if someone believes that the totality of you is limited to your five senses, then they might think, yes, the person can live forever. But the fact is that the person's, as you said, I think you said consciousness, Mr. Robinson? Your awareness, your spirit can't live on forever in the sense of being placed in a robot. That's impossible.
Right. That cannot go into a robot.
I see. Mr. Edwards, I think you were coming back in.
Yes, the thing that we need to identify is what is meant by living. And
very interesting question. What is meant by living, Mr. Edwards?
Right. So living means that you are experiencing various interactions, right?
Yes.
And you're doing different things, and saying that we can just leave that to downloading our memories into a robot and then be able to experience that same quality of existence that is not possible with the technology that we currently have. All right.
So when some persons make the case that I know I'm cutting into what you're saying, Mr. Edwards, but just for clarity, when some persons make the case that you can download someone's brain into a robot, into AI, and live forever, what do you think they really mean?
It would just be a case of the memories continue to exist.
I see. And by the way, we keep talking about the memories, but how exactly would you import into the robot those memories from the human being?
That's the thing, because before we can get to that point, the technology would need to be developed that allows us to scan the brain, identifying how to convert those memories into a format that allows it to be transferred into a machine. We would have to build a mechanical brain to store
A
those
mechanical
memories.
brain.
So we are not close to that point with the technology that we currently have. Yes, we are. Yes, in the medical field, there are a lot of machines that exist for scanning various parts of the body. But when the scans are done, it's normal to identify the structure of that part of the body to compare it to what we assume represents a normal functioning part, right? So when we do a scan of the brain and identify that this section looks to be inactive, so we can assume brain some type of damage to that area of the brain, then that's all that we can identify. So we are not at the point where we can take the memories that we currently have and transfer those memories into a robot. We as humans have been through the centuries looking at ways to control our environment. We have been looking for ways to replicate that which God does. And this thought, this idea is the one that tries to now step in to say, this is what we can do to replicate eternal life.
Well, interesting you said that, because first of all, as far as I'm concerned, you can't replicate eternal life. You know, we live in this world now, we die, our spirits live forever. But be that as it may, I want to bring in something that Mr. Musk himself is quoted to have, is reputed to have said in the article. Notably, Musk himself, and by the way, he's the richest man in the world. Notably, Musk himself doesn't seem to want to live forever, nor does he endorse the idea for anyone else. And he's quoted as saying this: I don't think we should try to have people live for a really long time. I'm not sure what he means by that. Unquote. He said, quote again, that would cause asphyxiation of society, because the truth is, most people don't change their mind, they just die. So if they don't die, we will be stuck with old ideas and society wouldn't advance. Not exactly sure what he means by all of that, but any further comments, Mr. Edwards, before we wrap?
But basically what he's getting at there is that our memories of control and our experiences have an impact on how we make decisions.
Yes.
And if we are just focusing on the fact that our current experience and what we know about living is what we are seeking to achieve through this transferring of our knowledge or memories into a machine, it will still not be addressing the issue of how do we change and improve and update the knowledge that we would have had. It doesn't address that. It's simply saying copy what you currently know onto this machine, and the machine will be able to continue existing even after your physical body goes. That's all it's saying.
I think we have to leave it there this morning. There's so much to unpack in this very interesting topic here. More and none, I'm sure this isn't going away anytime soon. This is an April article we referred to, and I'm sure there'll be many other news items, both internationally and locally, right, Mr. Edwards? We'll be seeing something coming up. Well, you didn't tell us the names of the robots that you take. If you want to give us a name now, feel free.
We haven't named the robots.
We haven't named them as yet. All right, we'll leave it there. Want to thank Mr. Rudy Robinson and Mr. Tyrone Edwards for being with us in this first watch. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Apply today for DBJ Recovery Line of Credit or Go Digital Loan to help you find a way. The time by JN Bank Small Business Loans is 7:30.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank will help you find a way.
We'll help you find a way. Indeed, that's a message there from our friends over there at JN Bank. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll be right back after these messages. Indeed. Stay tuned.
What does a healthy conversation look like? Can we avoid over-communicating? And how can one improve their romantic relationship through communication? You get to find out this and more this Thursday, April 21 at 5:30 p.m. inside the Truly Marvelous program To Have and to Hold, as we take a look at constructive and destructive communications in our marriage. That's the Truly Marvelous program, this and every Thursday, with host Colleen Beckles and her co-host for this week, Andre Allen Casey. And it happens right here on Love 101, the family station.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Ladies, this is a public service announcement. Have no fear. Do your pop smear. For you don't wanna crosses, take you down there. Now the way this your test, you set up and design is to pick up early warning sign before any cancer start to appear. And if you get treatment, then you don't care. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. Love and big up and respect yourself. Make sure that you protect yourself. If you do your pap smear, you feel protect yourself.
A message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Alliance MoneyGram money transfer is up and running again. Now you can receive your money when and where you need it at any Alliance MoneyGram agent island-wide.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. Let's take a look now at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. And we have here in the Gleaner among the latest news. Child among 3 shot, 1 fatally in Hanover. On the international scene, we have judge sends Assange extradition decision to UK government. And it reads a little bit of it here. A British judge on Wednesday formally approved the extradition of Julian Assange in the United States, to the United States, to the United States to face spying charges. And we now turn to the Observer. We have here suffering in silence. CPFSA director says children being abused, but cases not reported. And it reads here under the photograph of Mr. Warren Thompson of the CPFSA, Director of Children and Family Programs at Child Protection and Family Services Agency. Warren Thompson said the decline in child abuse reports for last year does not suggest that children are free from abuse. Very interesting there. bits of news there in the Observer. Coming up next, we'll refill some of the feedback from our Facebook and WhatsApp question, which is, would you consider putting your brain into a robot? Why or why not? If you haven't done so yet, leave a comment on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes too. 876-997-3125. Using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
He knows my name.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of global crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today. 876-220-6474. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church.
This is a reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
He knows my name.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. We are looking at our social media question now. Would you consider putting your brain into a robot? Why or why not? Shane Douglas.
All right, let's start with this one from Donna Chambers. God blew his breath into man, and man became a living soul. An AI would not be a living soul, so no matter how much brain matter is downloaded into it. That's what my friend Donna Chambers is saying. I also had one here from Sylvia, that's Sylvia Davis, Tracy from Mona. She's saying they use robots at the UA Theater. There was an article in the Gleaner that she made reference to. I believe that this article, I'm not sure of the date, but she says surgery wave future, maybe not. So basically, she's saying that there's some robots used to operate in the theater.
Yes. I understand what Sylvia is saying. The only issue is that the topic in the first watch was about downloading the brain, and I agree with Miss Chambers. Is it Donna Chambers is her name?
Yeah, Donna Chambers, that's right.
I agree with Donna Chambers. Completely agree with you, Donna Chambers.
So she basically said, no, I could not consider putting my brain into a robot. It would go against the natural law of God.
Donna Chambers, we are on the same page. We are on the same page. We'll move right into the second watch unless there are other comments, Rashid.
No, not at this time.
Right into the second watch we go. If you have ever had to deal with a loved one, unfortunately, leaving us, passing away, dying, and them not leaving or having a will, you'll understand how important a will is. And writing a will can seem like something many people don't want to do, because when they sit down to write a will, they start to say, boy, does this mean I'm going to die? Well, it's important to do a will. And at the end of the day, everyone will be the better for it. And you should be the better for it. And you see, you must have heard of many horror stories, listeners, where you have cases where persons die, there's no will, or the will can't be found, or there are stories of someone, maybe destroying the will, or I don't know, all kinds of stories. And so if someone were to die, would all of their affairs be in order? If you were to die today, tomorrow, God forbid, would all of your affairs be in order? And you don't want to leave your loved ones to be in a fight or a battle after you have gone because you didn't sit down to put a will in place. And also you need to consider what happens to your precious belongings, your assets, various things you have. What happens to these things if you didn't leave a will? So we have online this morning to educate us on this matter and to give us a lot of guidance. We have Mr. Anthony Williams, attorney at law. He's an attorney at law of the law firm, in fact, managing partner of Using Williams and Company. He's a lawyer with over 30 years of experience in the legal field. And he is a guest or has been a guest on the Morning Watch quite a number of times. And he's going to be giving us some guidance this morning as to exactly what to do to make sure you have a will to keep things in order. So when you do leave this precious earth, you don't leave those left behind to be fighting over and scrambling and not even being sure as to where to turn or what to do. Mr. Williams, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning, Stokely, and to your listeners. Thank you for having me.
Great having you, sir. Very great having you. And first of all, sir, I want to thank you for agreeing to come on air to assist us with this topic. Now, first of all, why the need for a will? Why the need for a will?
Well, there are several reasons why we need a will, and I must say that having a will has a religious and biblical reference. You know, in Genesis 27, Isaac said to his son Esau, he said, "Come, let I bless you before I die. Come, let I bless you before I die." And so we see moons ago where Isaac was preparing his estate, and so he was preparing himself to leave a legacy for his son Esau. But we also know about the story of the birthright taken away. He says, "My eyes are getting dim." And so for many of us in Jamaica and by extension the world, we too, like Isaac, have to prepare ourselves. Now, there are several reasons why we need to prepare a will, and there are no particular order. One, it assists you to determine who specifically will get your assets, when they will get your assets, how they will get your assets, and the specific quantity. So, for example, you may have 2 houses, you may have 3 motor cars. Is it that all 3 must go to one person, or is it 1? Is it 2? And if so, the specific nature of the asset. It also helps you to determine who will not be your beneficiary. So not only who will get, but also who will not get. I may make the reference to Michael Jackson. My understanding is that he left a will, and in his will he specifically stated that under no circumstance should his father benefit or inherit in his estate. Now that was wise, that was smart, very intelligent. He was planning ahead. And what it does is to eliminate any potential conflict, eliminate potential crisis of those who may want to put in a claim for the estate. It also determines who will manage your estate, and we call that person the executor. So that is another important aspect of making a will. It also determines how the residue of your estate will be distributed. And the residue really means what assets that you may inherit after you have made your will. So you made a will in 2022, and you had a certain number of assets. And then 5 years down the road, you may acquire more assets. You may be the beneficiary of other assets. And in many ways, you can win a lot of things. And so those may not be taken care of the will that you made in 2022. So you make a determination as to who will benefit from the residue of your estate. And sometimes the residue, Stokely, of your estate is larger than the actual assets that you actually listed in your will.
Yes.
Now, there are persons who invariably will have children, 1 or 2 or 3 or more.
Before you go on to the matter of the children, Mr. Williams, I think we are already upon a break. So hold the thought, sir. Listeners, stay with us. Very important segment we are doing in this second watch, the making of a will, the relevance of the will and the importance of a will. We'll be right back with the Morning Watch.
50 and over, get the best health plan as well as fabulous discounts. Visit ccrponline.org today or call 469-1944 and live life to the fullest. The time by CCRP is
7425.
Things you can do online with NCB in 10.6 minutes or less. On your marks, go! Open a bank account. Open an investment account. Get a fast cash or pay advance loan. Sign up for our mobile app and pay bills, make transfers, and check your balances. Get pre-qualified for your dream home. Apply for a credit card. Apply for an auto loan to buy your dream car. Visit www.jncb.com/getdigital to get your financial goals moving NCB fast.
When you need the best premium quality for your home and commercial projects, Berger is the only brand. Beautiful, durable finishes are just a brushstroke or trowel away. Berger Everglow, Berger Royale, and Berger 303 are virtually odorless, fast drying to enjoy that room in no time, and are easy to clean off to any mess. And Berger Trowel On protects against harsh tropical weather, no matter the season. Get the boldness of Berger today. Berger for lasting beauty and protection.
I'm advice I don't know a lot of shot and tally. I have a message to everyone. Get vaccinated. Hey, tourism the main driver of the local economy. It provides us with jobs to help the country. So everybody in the industry, get the job and come follow me. It don't hurt to the nerd. Link the nurse cause the vaccine work. Get vaccinated. Yeah. This is a message from the Ministry of Tourism. Get vaccinated. Just get vaccinated. You're deaf?
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. We are in the second watch. We are speaking to attorney at law, Anthony Williams, managing partner of Him Williams and Company, and attorneys at law. And we are looking at a very relevant topic, that being the making of a will. Before the break, Mr. Williams, you were going on to talk about making a will in circumstances where there are children involved. Please continue.
Yes. So we're a testator that refers to the male or the female testator as a child or children. Then you would want to make provision for the child. And what if the child's parents are deceased? Who will take care of that minor child? Invariably, that child will be in high school or prep school, or they may be in their early years at university or college or some tertiary institution or training center. And it's even worse if the child is under, say, 5 years old. Now, so who takes care of the child? And so the will make provision. You will name a trustee, you will name a guardian, you can name someone who you have confidence in, who has a high level of responsibility, and who will take care of the child or children in the same way that you have done so. And that is one of the advantages. Also, the will reduces or cauterizes potential family disputes. So, there are instances where persons are going to make a decision as to who should get what and when, and conflicts arises. And so when you make the will, you automatically eliminate or significantly reduces these potential family conflicts and disputes. And people fight over a lot of stuff, simple things, big things, Also, there are persons who have favorite causes. And when you make a will, it assists you to support your favorite cause. You may want to support the Cancer Society, the Heart Foundation, maybe you are a member of a service organization, the Kiwanis, the Rotary, the Lions Club, or your church, and you may want to leave a legacy. You may be an alumnus of a school, and you may want to leave a legacy for your school. Some people create a scholarship, etc. And so that is one of the advantages of leaving a will. Also,
Indeed.
you want to leave instructions for your your funeral expenses, etc., etc. And so those are some of the advantages of making a will. And finally, one of the things that we must warn and caution our listeners is that if you don't plan to make a will, then the government of Jamaica, by virtue of the Intestate and Estate and Property Charges Act, so this is an act which says that if you don't make a will, no problem. The government of Jamaica, by virtue of this act, will make your will for you. They will determine who will get what and when and how and in what quantities under this act. And so you will find.
I know that you didn't mean that the government literally makes the will for you. What the act does, it sets out how your estate will be distributed.
That is correct. It really sets out how your assets will be distributed if you don't make the will. And so you may find that persons may, unfortunately and regrettably, inherit assets that you really did not intend for them purposefully to obtain. So those are benefits of getting the will.
And some persons have, for instance, asked what happens in certain cases, why it is that the Administrator General of Jamaica gets involved. I don't know if you have anything to comment on there, because go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Yes. So under the current law, if a person has children or a child, and that child is under the age of 23, and they die without making a will, then automatically the Administrator General of Jamaica will be the person who will be responsible for administering the estate. So if there is no child or children under the age of 23, then the Administrator General will not be that automatic person. So what you find is that some responsible person, maybe the spouse or a child or two children of the deceased, may apply to the court to administer the estate. And sometimes disputes arises there because some may think that they have a better advantage or they are the one who should be the administrator. And again, potential conflicts, potential nuances, and potential disturbances occur. It can be time consuming, it can be expensive, and it just breeds bad blood amongst these persons. And so these are the circumstances that would lead to the Administrator General doing the estate or the Administrator General not doing the estate. So it depends on whether or not the person who died, the testator, the deceased rather, had the children who are under 23 or no children, or they are children but they're adults.
So just to sort of summarize, if there is no will and there is no child under 23 years of age, it means that there is really no need for the Administrator General to be involved. And I'm assuming
That is correct. That is correct.
Understood. And
if there is a child, but if the deceased has a child or children and they're over 23, essentially they're adults, then someone would have to apply to the court or should apply to the court to be the administrator. It could be the surviving spouse, it could be a child of the deceased, in those circumstances to apply for Administrator General.
And assuming that these children are compos mentis and able to make the application. For example.
Yes. Well, I think we should now get to speak to what makes a will valid.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So in order for a will to be valid, several persons, boast that they have a will, and invariably it does not meet the legal requirements. So first of all, we have an act called the Wills Act, right? The Wills Act. And the Wills Act is the appropriate relevant legislation that governs, the validity of a will. And so there are several things that make a will valid. One, the person making the will, as I said, in the case of a male, it's called a testator. In the case of a woman, female, it's called a testatrix. and over. So essentially, a child cannot make a will. The will must be in writing. Several persons that have wills, and the wills is really an oral statement. That is not a will. In order for it to be valid under the Wills Act, it must be in
Yes.
writing. It must
So
also
it cannot be verbal.
No, it cannot be verbal. It cannot be verbal at all. It can't just come from the word of mouth. And you hear people say, "Oh, Uncle Sam and Aunt Mary and Susan before they died said A, B, C." No, it doesn't work like that.
I think there may be an exception, though, if maybe, for instance, it's a soldier who is dying in battle. I think I've seen that exception. But outside of that.
Yes, correct. So it must be signed by the testator or the testatrix, and it must be signed by them voluntarily.
Yes.
I want to repeat, it must be signed by them voluntarily. They must not sign under any influence of duress or fraud or any chicanery circumstance or undue influence. And that is why...
the will must be dated as well, yes?
Yes, the will must be dated. And not only must it be signed, but it must be witnessed by two persons who saw the testator or the testatrix sign.
Yes.
It goes to the validity, and it must be signed in the presence of each other. So these are essentially the key elements of a will.
And if a witness is to get a gift, if a witness is to get a gift, what guidance do you want to give the listeners in terms of making sure the gift doesn't become invalid?
Yes, if you want to give a benefactor a gift, then in order for that not to be invalid, then you should not make that person one of the witnesses. So try and avoid any benefactor or potential beneficiaries a witness to the will. The laws when I meant it so quickly for circumstances like these to be allowed, but there are special circumstances. So generally, try and avoid naming someone a beneficiary and then asking that person to witness it.
Okay. Generally speaking, yes, understood.
Generally speaking, yes, because the law presumes undue influence.
Okay, understood. Two things before we wrap this morning. We have a couple of seconds left. Someone asked, this is if you have no will now. Back to that. How does the Administrator General know to get involved? Do you go to them?
Invariably, the Administrator General would not know that, John Brown or Mary Jane has died.
Yeah.
So proactive steps would have to be taken by a family member or some concerned person of the estate to visit or make a call to the Administrator General, and they will guide the process. They have lawyers down there. They have a very efficient and highly trained staff, and they have assisted many persons in the administration of their estate. So the critical thing to do is to visit or make a call to the office.
And sometimes persons will ask, can the executor also be a witness to the will? Sometimes people ask that question.
Yes, the executor can be a witness to the will as long as he is not going to be a beneficiary or a benefactor under the will. And speaking about executor, I just want to say that when you're choosing your executor, make sure you choose someone who is highly confidential, somebody who is responsible, someone who you trust, someone with integrity, because remember now, it involves property, it involves money, it involves investments, stock shares, bonds, a lot of things, and you don't want anyone who is going to handle your estate who will essentially swindle your estate. And for those who accept the responsibility as an executor, they can be liable before a court of law, and if they swindle the estate, they can also be prosecuted.
Have to leave it there this morning. So much more to ask, because we know that even with a will, some persons will try to make a challenge to it, but we have to leave it there this morning. Mr. Anthony Williams, thank you for your time and for your thoughts. Grateful that you came to spend some time with us this morning, sir. And of course, thank you for having been with us on the Morning Watch, listeners. Visit the Love 101 FM YouTube channel and Facebook page, and of course, download our Love 101 app and stay connected to us, the family station, the number 4 station in the island, and the number 1 gospel station in Jamaica. Join my colleague, Reverend Dr. Dallin Toussaint, next week as we look at other topical and controversial issues. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and to our guests. I am Stokely Marshall, handing it back to Rasheen Douglas.
Thank you, Stokely. Have a great one now. All right,
you
blessings.
too, sir.
Blessings indeed.
NHF beneficiaries enrolled for diabetes can apply online for a glucometer to help manage diabetes. Visit www.nhf.org.jm. The time by the NHF is...
It is 8 o'clock time now.